Hey folks, Philly Boy J back with another video, and today we're going to be grilling some pork spare ribs. You can use beef if you want, but I like to use pork. The way that you have to clean your spare ribs is you have to remove the membrane from the rib, and that's on the back here. All that white stuff, you have to basically remove that. So that's what I'm gonna do first. So there's a lot of fat that you have to remove from the rib, and this is the fat that you want to remove right here. Okay, you can't get all of it, but you want to remove as much as possible. Okay guys, so this is all the fat that we removed. Now we got to focus on the membrane, so let's do that next. I'm gonna tell you the easiest way to remove the membrane, which is all of this white stuff right here. You're gonna take the end right here at the end of the rib, then you're gonna just pull it across if you can. All right, pull it across and off like this, just like that. Pull all that off just like that. It's not gonna be kind of hard, but yeah. Get all of that off just like that. All right, folks. So what we're going to be seasoning our ribs with is a rub, and what a rub is basically a combination of seasonings combined together to create one seasoning. There's many different rib rubs out there. You can use whatever rib rub you want. You got the Kansas City rub, you got the Memphis rub, the Arizona rub, the Texas rub. They got all different kinds of rubs out there. The rub that we're going to be using today is very similar to the Memphis rub. Here are the seasonings that we're going to be using. We're going to use different amounts. I'll talk about the measurements in a few seconds, but you're going to need some salt, some ground black pepper, some garlic powder, some cayenne pepper, some ground cumin, some brown sugar, some paprika. Paprika is going to give it color. Some dry mustard, some whole oregano, and some onion powder. All right. Now, some people in my family used to use a little bit of chili powder and a little bit of thyme, but these are the combination of seasonings that I like on my ribs the most. Okay, so basically you can kind of create your own rub, just combine together the seasonings that you like the best, that give your ribs the flavor that you like the best. All right, okay, so we're gonna get a bowl and we're going to combine these seasonings to create our rib rub. What I use is a half a cup of brown sugar. Okay. Big chunky pieces of brown sugar. Break that up a bit. I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of paprika. Just 1 tablespoon. 2. 3. 4. All right. Use however much salt you want to use. I can't tell you how much salt to use, but since I can eat salt, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of salt. 1 big tablespoon. I'm going to also use 1 tablespoon of pepper. One tablespoon of garlic powder. We're pretty much going to use 1 tablespoon of everything, except the paprika and the brown sugar. 1 tablespoon of dry mustard. One tablespoon of ground cumin. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. This is spicy. This is cayenne pepper. It gives it a little bit of spice. You can reduce the amount if you don't want your ribs to come out too spicy. It shouldn't come out too spicy because you're combining it with all the other seasonings, but I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of that. And last but not least, 1 tablespoon of whole oregano. Sometimes I use thyme and oregano, but most times I just use oregano. It's going to serve as our herb. And that's our rib rub. It's what's going to give our rib a delicious flavor. We're going to combine all this together. And there goes our rib rub. All right. Okay guys, so you're also going to be using some olive oil. We're going to rub the olive oil onto the ribs before we sprinkle the rib rub onto the ribs. And what the olive oil you do is it serves as a gluing agent. It allows the rib rub to stick to the ribs better, and it also opens up the pores of the ribs so that the seasoning can seep into the ribs. Okay, so basically just open up the pores of the ribs and help the rib rub stick better. Okay guys, so we're going to rub the oil onto both sides of the ribs. All right, like I said, I'm only using about 1/4 cup. Rub it on this side first. Then we're going to rub the oil on this side of the ribs. And this is basically, like I said earlier, going to help the rib rub stick. And it's going to open up the pores of the ribs, all right? Just make sure you rub it down real well with oil. And you want this to marinate for about, at the very minimum, 5 hours, but overnight for best results. Going to rub the rib rub onto the ribs now. The rocky part is basically the brown sugar. Okay, so rub this real well. Look at that. We'll let this sit overnight. All right. So this is the first side we got. We're gonna turn it over and get the other side. It's heavy. Sometimes I sprinkle a little more of the seasoning onto the ribs as they're grilling. But yeah, this is pretty much it. So we're gonna let this sit for 5 to 8 hours. I'm going to let mine sit for overnight. All these flavors combined are going to give it a really good taste. You got the combination of the sweetness from the brown sugar, the hotness from the cayenne pepper, and all of the other flavors like the oregano and the dry mustard. It's really going to give the ribs a real good taste. Alright, I'll see you guys soon. Okay guys, so here's the aluminum foil that we're going to place the ribs on. And here are the ribs after marinating all night in the Memphis rub. Alright, so we're going to sit the ribs onto the aluminum foil. So this is how the ribs look. They're well marinated. And we're going to wrap them up in aluminum foil. Like this. And we're going to sit them on the grill until they are done. I like to wrap my ribs when I put them on the grill. Some people don't, but I think this helps get them tender. And we're going to cook them until they're tender, and I'll show you guys how they look when they're almost done. Okay guys, so here are how the ribs are looking after an hour. I'm going to allow them to cook for about another 45 minutes. You can break a piece of meat off to see if it's tender. And once it's tender, I brush a little bit of barbecue sauce onto them. And then I let them go for about another 15 minutes. So I'll get back with you guys once they're done. Like I said, I'm going to give it another hour. Then we're going to brush some barbecue sauce on it. Let it go for another 15 minutes. And then they should be all done. So I'll get back with you guys when they're tender and ready for the barbecue brush. So it's pretty much done now. Just got done adding the barbecue sauce. And I'm rubbing the barbecue sauce onto the ribs. But yeah, they're pretty much done for the most part. So I'm gonna let this go for about another 15 minutes. So that the barbecue will stick to the ribs a little better. And then I'll show you guys the final results when we slice the ribs up into spare rib pieces. Okay guys, so here's the final results of our ribs. They look absolutely delicious. So we're getting ready to slice these bad boys up. That's what I'm about to do now. All right, slice them up. Slice this one. Slice this one. Move the ribs over here a little bit. Slice them all the way down like that. So let me continue slicing these, and I'll get back with you guys when I'm done. So here they are, nice and tender. Look at that. Looks absolutely delicious. These are some really, really good ribs, guys. They look absolutely delicious. Look at that meat. This rib look good. So does this one. There goes our ribs. I hope you guys enjoy.